So when we got married, basically, we didn't have any like God or any Christian friends, and we just like lead basically the life that we wanted. And my daughter basically says she wants to join the Sunday school while we are waiting for her in the Sunday school. We actually sat during the service as visitors, and Kim Teck was dozing off most of the time. I kind of like quite judgmental in the whole thing, but I was just going through the motion while waiting for my daughter.
I baptized, I think in the age of 20. Then after that, I backslided. Then from there on, my life is like a downward spiral. So when I get married, I try to work hard. I put my focus in my work in the beginning of the years, but it just doesn't work out.
I would say that time we were going through a lot of crisis, and honestly wasn't very good. On the surface, it may be quite a happy family, and people will say, wow, this couple have 2 kids, and look happy, but actually we were not really that well. There's some underlying issues that we faced.
I think due to our lack of communication and we used to quarrel a lot of times, probably due to avoidance, I start to gamble and I go back into that again.
I grew up in a family where my dad is a gambler, and he doesn't really take care of the family. So when Kim Teck was involved in gambling, and there were debts just like occurring, and I just felt like I'm stepping into my mom's shoe, and this was quite scary because it just made me felt very helpless, and I felt like I was going back to my younger days. Yeah.
I think when I don't have enough money for the family, I felt that I did not provide for the family. I'm a loser. I'm not a good husband or not a good father. Yeah.
During those times, I realized that there was someone also involved in our marriage, and it's a third party, and he admitted that he's seeing this lady, and it makes the situation just got back to worst. We tried to resolve it. We tried seeking counseling, but all this didn't really work. To a point, I felt like I wanted to bring my 2 kids to just like end our lives, and that may create some guilt and some shame, or I want him to feel like there's some vengeance in that. But thank God it didn't happen.
We have been fighting for quite some years about this divorce, and then we also did fight for the rights of the children. And then the worst stage is there's a stage where I say that you can go ahead to look for the lawyer, and I admit my mistake, and you have won the battle, and you can tell whatever to the lawyer, and I'll just sign on it.
When situation comes to a point that I have done everything I could, but just there's nothing seems to work, and I just remember, I only know that this greater force is God, and God will help me. So that night, I can't remember why, I just knelt down and I just prayed. I told God, I said, I have enough, and can you just, take everything from me and take on from here. So that was the night I remember I surrendered. I think there was some reflections that I did, and I knew, when a marriage fails, it's 2 parties and it's not just one.
At that point of time, I was like feeling that she has won. She has all the right to do everything, and I lost everything. I lost everything, and what happened next was she came to me and she said, "This is not what you wanted," and and she apologized to me. In a way, I can see that kind of like she's begging and say sorry to me, and that's when I look at her and I start to look at the cross, and it's like, why does she need to apologize to me for all the wrong thing I have done? And I understand that's why my Lord Jesus Christ died for me. I think at one stage where I felt it's not about whether she forgive me or whether God forgive me. It's the part where I do not forgive myself. And when during the time where I felt guilty, He's always very affirming, and His word is always affirming, and God is very faithful. Yeah, even when I'm not faithful.
I remember this verse from this psalm. It says that God actually stores my tears in a bottle. And in a bottle, this is something like, who will store tears in bottles? It must be very precious to Him. So that also reminded me that I'm precious, and whatever experiences or the suffering I had or the tears I cried, God knows, and God will use it, and I know God has been using it. I think people look at us and say, oh, you're like, newly married. You have so much, always laughing and having fun together. I say, we had our past, and Kim Taek is now my soulmate, and we share everything. Yeah. So that is something that there's so much difference from the past.
From a period of time where I really very angry with her, I hated her, to now that I know that God has prepared someone so beautiful for me. Yeah, she's the one.